Hey everyone, this is Alex Milstein. I'm the editor-in-chief of Betting News Now, and this is Bet Ed Now, bite-sized bits of betting industry knowledge. Today, my guest is Derek Leishman. He is the National Sales Director of Mlily, and he just joined the company, was it about a year ago, Derek?
That's right, September 1st last year.
Okay. So that's a great amount of time to learn about the company and, really get your footing. So I'm glad to have you on the show today.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Excited to be here. Excited to talk with you today.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to be talking about domestic manufacturing, kind of, comparing that to imports and also the edge that it can give to retailers. So let's start with, what does domestic manufacturing look like in the industry today? What's the popularity of it?
Yeah, great question. So I think going back to 2020, I think 2020 and the years following 2020 taught us a lot of lessons. For lack of better phrase, I think we all went on a bit of a roller coaster ride, regardless of what you did or what you were, where you were at in the industry. And I think one of the lessons that we learned and one of the things that we realized was how reliant we were as an industry on overseas manufacturing. We recognized a lot of inefficiencies and uncontrollable variables in the global supply chain. And because of that, I think that domestic manufacturing has become much more popular because of the lessons that we learned through 2020 and the following years. Those retailers who had partnered with domestic manufacturers prior to 2020, they were really able to capitalize on the increasing demand that we saw with the stimulus checks going into the economy. And so, again, I think that domestic manufacturing is as popular as it ever has been, and I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What do you think makes a retailer go with a domestic manufacturer over an importer?
So I think there's several reasons why retailers should consider a domestic manufacturer. I think if I was to sum it up in a one sentence answer, would just be the confidence and transparency in the supply chain. Again, going back to what we learned during the pandemic years, there's a lot of uncontrollable variables that retailers had to deal with when they're working with an importer. Now, when you work with a domestic manufacturer, of course, there's still going to be uncontrollable variables, but those variables aren't as great. And again, the transparency is a lot clearer when you work with a domestic manufacturer. In addition to that, lead times are a lot shorter. You don't have to deal with the fluctuation of ocean freight or ocean freight delays or port delays or things like that. And I think probably one of the most important elements that a retailer should consider when working with a domestic manufacturer is the marketing angle that they can use. More and more people are looking for US produced products, and I don't see that trend going away anytime soon.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a really smart way to, show quality without
Yeah.
just saying, "Hey, this is a quality piece," because everybody kind of touts, quality and customer service. And unless
Yep.
you can show it in a way that's a little more blunt than just saying it, I think anything like that is a clear advantage for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You really need to explain why you're different, why you're better, why you are special. And having US produced products is one of the ways that retailers can do that.
Yeah, yeah. And have you been hearing about retailers who only carry domestic product? Because I've heard about a couple of them who just, that's kind of their message is everything here is American made.
Yeah, I have heard that. And I think more and more retailers are trending in that direction. I think when we think about the end consumer, there's two things that are becoming more important to them, and that is where the product's produced and how the product's produced. And if a retailer can explain confidently those two questions to an end consumer, I think they can win a lot of business. And specifically talking about where the product's produced, if a retailer is partnered with a domestic manufacturer, they really need to be telling that story to the customer every interaction that they have. If it's online, they need to make sure that their social media, their own website has call outs to the US made story. Once that end consumer comes in the door, they need to have that signage, the POP that calls out made in the USA products. And last but not least, and probably the most important element, is making sure that the RSA is trained on how to present those US made products and bringing up the fact that it is manufactured here in the States. Those two areas, where the product's produced and how the product's produced, are going to continue to be important for the end consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. I love how you kind of went through the stages there. Like it really does start online.
Yep.
And, you have to have that message on your website because that could, be the defining factor between them going with you or just moving on to the next one.
Yep.
Um,
100%.
Yeah, and then with RSAs, I think it is very important to kind of give them that tool to say, here's a selling point, that can't really dispute it.
Right.
So,
Right. Just giving that RSA more ammo to bring up, build more confidence in the end consumer. And again, it's playing a bigger role in the buying decision for those end consumers is knowing where the product's produced.
okay. Well, that's all that I had for today. But yeah, I think that was a great conversation. I really think that the domestic angle is going to play a role in the industry, especially with big deals like Ashley acquiring Resident and
Sure.
potentially TSI and Mattress Firm merging. It's going to be something that really helps set them apart in a difficult time. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time, Alex. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, you as well, Derek. It was great talking to you.